Yo, what's going on, dudes? HK Titans here with a brand new video for you guys, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a comment request. On the last video that I did about the BTD6 map editor, I had a comment from Hera that wanted me to turn Cubism into a water map, so I thought that would be a pretty fun challenge to do. So let's go ahead and get started in creating a water version of the map Cubism. So of course, with creating all of these maps, the first thing we need to do is, of course, we need to choose our background. So because Cubism is a little bit of a lighter map, let's go ahead and go with the bright blue background. And then the next thing we have to do is we have to choose the path. So the path that I want to do, let's see how this one looks. So if we do the path like this, I'm not exactly sure if that path will look the best. Maybe if we do like this path here, I'm not exactly sure which one will do the best. When it comes to making water maps, I really enjoy using this pathway here because it just looks really, really good. And it's like not overly bright, but it's bright enough to like pop out and stand out. But after taking a little bit of a look-see, I think I'm going to go with the very first path because I think the first path looks the best. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and create the basic outline of Cubism. So this is going to do for the basic outline of Cubism. Now the next thing we have to do is obviously we have to smooth some things up, because right now it looks a little bit wacky and wonky, and we can go ahead and fix that just by changing up some of these pylons. So I'm going to try to make these corners as straight as I can, but as you guys know, in the BTD6 map editor, that's easier said than done. As long as we can get the basic outline done, then everything else should be fairly easy. All right, and let's see how this looks. So the corners are going to look a little bit weird because of the path that we're using. Let's actually try out one of the different paths to see if it looks a little bit better. I mean, the corners are still a little bit wacky, but I think it looks a little bit better. Maybe if we change the path width, it'll make it seem a little bit less noticeable. And I think by changing the path width to make it a little bit smaller, it actually makes it look a little bit better. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and like make some changes to this map. Because obviously, if we have a water map, we can't have like a water feature in this little triangle here, or we can't have a water feature down here. So what we can do is that instead of making these water features, we'll go ahead and make them land features instead. So we'll do that by just adding ourselves a little area up here. Now with this area, I want to kind of make it seem like it's like right next to the path. I don't want it to actually be underneath the path. All right, and I think that should do quite nicely for our first area. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to come down here and I want to add the second area. And again, I'm just going to be using 2 islands here because I mean, these 2 islands will make up for the water features that are on the normal Cubism map. All right, and I think that should do quite nicely. I do know that the background still looks a little bit iffy, so maybe we can add a little bit of like flare over here on this side of the map. I just need to find out something that will look good to add that little bit of flare. Maybe we'll have a darker shade of water over here, and then we'll do like something like this, and then we'll go ahead and add ourselves like some like lily pads and stuff like that to make it seem like there's like a swamp on the edge of the like ocean or something like that. I think that would be really, really cool. That way we can like mix up the color just a little bit, because right now it would look a little bit too bland because we really don't have too many water effects that we can use. I mean, actually, you know what? I saw something that would be really, really cool. What if we made like a raft, like if somebody is like in the middle of the ocean, but they're on a raft? I think that would be really, really cool. Let's actually try that. So we'll make the raft out of like little bridges like this. Actually, that bridge is a little bit too big. What if we made like the raft like this? And then we'll just make it like 4 planks wide. And then in order to make it seem like it's actually floating on water, or like a normal raft, the next thing that we can use is we can go ahead and grab the barrel thing or the barrel prop. Because if we use the barrel prop, then it can seem like the barrels are used to like hold up the platform. And I think that would look really cool. All right, so this is going to be the basic layout of my raft, but I think I'm going to have to rotate the raft just so it's facing like up and down, because these barrels will act as a blocking for darts. But I want the platform to actually work like a platform so we could place our monkeys on top of it. So let me go ahead and change the way that this is facing really, really quick. All right, so that should do pretty nicely for the basic outline. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and like try to come up with something to use for a raft, because obviously if you're on a raft, you're going to have some sort of sail, especially if you're in the middle of the ocean. So I think this prop would do pretty well for the mast. Now we need to come up with something to use as like the sail. But I'm gonna have it be like a sail that's like not fully functional, I guess. I think that's like the only thing that we could actually do. But the next problem that we're gonna run across is that we really can't like change the way that it's facing. Unless we do something like this. Would that change the way that it looks? Maybe we need to like tilt this back. Why isn't this working? If I tilt it forward, okay, so now it's popping out, but that's not gonna help us because it's not gonna like appear like it's actually the mast of the ship. So maybe we need to like decrease the size just a touch, then tilt it a little bit further back. No, if we tilt it too far back, then it's not gonna look good. Let me see. Is there anything else that I can do? Can we use a different set of fences? I don't think we can. We may have run across a little bit of a problem here. Let me see if there's any other props that we can actually use here. So I'm not finding any other props that I can use. Maybe instead, I'll just have to make the mast a little bit smaller. And then hopefully that one fence that I was using before will be enough. All right, so unfortunately, I don't think I can actually get this mast to work. Even if I like tilt it, it'll look a little bit wonky. So I think I'm gonna have to come up with something a little bit different. We can leave this here. It's not gonna make like a massive difference. It'll still look like it belongs there, but we just won't have a mast, which is kind of upsetting spaghetti, but it's fine. Next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and like create like a couple of boxes on top of this, because obviously if we're going to be setting off to sea from a deserted island, you're going to have a couple of boxes to like store stuff. And then you're also going to have a like rudder on your raft as well. So we'll go ahead and put this rudder like right here at the back of the raft. And then we'll grab ourselves a couple of boxes. We'll go ahead and place a couple of boxes on the back of the raft like this. And then we'll go ahead and like rotate them like so, just to make it seem like we have a little bit of a like different like supplies and stuff. And then also on a raft, we should also have a couple of light sources. So what if we like use these and we just go ahead and like make it seem like we put a couple of lanterns on the raft. I kind of like it, but at the same time, I don't. I feel like it just doesn't fit the theme that I'm going for. So let's go ahead and nix that plan. Maybe instead we'll add like this, because this is something more like you would see on a raft, I think. We'll go ahead and like put it, maybe we'll put it like over here. Actually that looks a little bit too out of place. So never mind, we'll nix that one as well. Is there anything else that we can really use? Maybe we could like throw like this tub on here, like a source of drinking water or something like that. Maybe that would work out pretty well. And then the last thing we want to do, there's not really much that we could do. I guess we could like throw some dirt on there, like a dirt mound. Even though I don't know why you would want to have a dirt mound, I guess it's something that we could just add because why not? We'll add like a dirt mound here, and then we'll go ahead and like have a couple of like flowers sticking out from the dirt mound. I think that would look pretty cool. That is if of course the flowers didn't like look like they were like half inside the dirt mound. So maybe if we make it a little bit smaller, we go ahead and fix the rotation. No, that's not gonna work at all. All right, so never mind. That's gonna be another plan that's not gonna work out for us. But we'll leave the dirt pile there because why? Because why not? Maybe instead we can like stick a flower inside of one of these boxes, and then we'll go ahead and turn off the animation for the flower as well. If I can click it again, there we go. Let's turn off the animation for the flower. Then it'll look like they're like apples inside of the crate. But I just need to go ahead and rotate it so the green's not visible. Then we'll go ahead and add one more right here. And I think that looks fine. I mean, it's not like a perfect raft or anything like that, but it's the best that we can do right now, so I kind of like it. All right, so now the next thing we want to do is we want to add a couple of features to these islands. Now, obviously, these islands are going to be really, really small. Like, this is just going to be like a island on the outskirts of this one. So let's go ahead and add ourselves a couple of rocks to this island, because you guys know I like adding rocks to islands. So the rock that I'll add to the island is going to be this one to kind of like break up of the bright vibrancy of what we have on the map so far. So we'll add this rock, and then we'll add ourselves like a tree on this island as well. And of course, because this is like a island in the middle of the ocean, let's go ahead and use a palm tree, and we'll go ahead and make this palm tree pretty big. That way it makes it seem like this raft isn't like the size of a island. but instead it'll make it seem like this island's really, really small. And then what else can we add to this island? Because we want to break up the like distinct features in between this black rock and this really bright green background. So maybe what we can do to break up the like difference really quick is we can go ahead and add ourselves a couple of these dark shrubs, and then we'll make some of these shrubs a little bit smaller to like make it so they're not as uniform. All right, there we go, and I think that should do perfectly fine. We'll add a couple more shrubs over here to like kind of like make it seem like they belong there a little bit more, and I think that looks good. Like it breaks up the side of the rock and the bright green background, which is exactly what I was going for. Now, what kind of stamps can we use? What if we use where is it? What if we use like this nope, that's a little bit too dark. What if we use like the dark spots? Oh, the dark spots don't really fit as well. Is there anything else that we can use? Maybe we'll just use like the normal flowers. I mean, the normal flowers should do perfectly well as well. There we go. All right, so we added ourselves a couple of flowers, and then the last thing I'm going to add to this island, let's go ahead and add ourselves a little bit of shade. But I'm going to use this as a shade background because I feel like if I use the other one, it's going to be a little bit too dark. And I see a little bit more over here. Nah, it's just this one spot right here that just is a little bit out of place. There we go. All right, that looks much better. All right, so now the next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and add ourselves a couple more palm trees over here. Now, I'm not going to add any rock features on this island because I feel like we might have too many rock features if I do. So instead, we'll focus more on the vegetation on this island. Let's go ahead and rotate these palm trees. We'll make one a little bit smaller, and then we'll go ahead and copy this. We'll go ahead and rotate this. And we'll make it seem like it's like a triple tree that we have down here at the bottom. And I think that would look pretty cool. And then we'll go ahead and add ourselves a couple more trees as well, just to add a little bit more ambiance to this island, as well as like make it seem like there's more detail on this map than there actually is. All right, so we added some palm trees down here. Now let's go ahead and add a couple of rocks with the stamps icon, and we'll make it seem like this is like a rocky island or a rocky beach. And the next thing we can do is we can go and add some of these like grass features as well, because that'll break it up a little bit as well, and make it seem like a little bit more like it's been like I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of the word. Like it hasn't been like upkept. It's feral. I don't think feral is the word I'm looking for, but it's a little bit more rugged. All right, there we go. And let's go ahead and add ourselves a couple of these like sand islands, or not sand islands. Dude, I'm getting my words all discombobulated again. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of for these sand breaks, sandbar. That's what I was going for. All right, so now the last thing I want to do, what if I added like a couple of like these like kind of brighter green shrubs? I wonder if this would like interfere with like me adding the shades. So let's go ahead and add the shades really quick to see if it like makes a difference. Oh, there we go. No, that actually looks good. All right, so we'll have it be a little bit darker than the other island because there's more trees. Then we'll just have like the very faint stamps in the background. And I think that would look pretty good. Now, the next thing I want to do, in the ocean, sometimes you guys will see like dark spots. So let's add a couple of like dark spots over here in the ocean to seem like it's a little bit deeper at this part of the ocean, right? So what if I did this and we went ahead and like made it like come up here, all the way over here like this, and I don't know how that looks. I think if we just like didn't use as many stamps, I think it would look a little bit better. And also, it's kind of hard to make like a straight line with this style of like stamp. So let's just try to do our best. All right, there we go. And then let's go ahead and add ourselves a couple of ripple features or water features over here as well. How does this look? I kind of wanted these like water features to go along the edge, like this. Let me go ahead and erase all of this. No, I can't do that. Oh no. All right, never mind. Never mind. Let's go ahead and add this. We'll go ahead and add this, and then that should be fine. Let's go ahead and erase this one like this. It'll just seem like it's a little bit of a darker part of the ocean. Maybe instead of like doing a darker part of the ocean, we'll just add ourselves a couple of like these stamp features to make it seem like the clouds. Like if we're making clouds, they don't have to be perfect. Plus, it'll bring the map to life a little bit more, right? by having like these cloud features overhead. And then I think what we can do is we can go ahead and add ourselves a little bit of a background effect with like this. And by adding like this cloud effect, maybe it'll make it look a little bit better, like it's almost moving. Okay, so that background effect really isn't that prominent. I think this one looks a little bit better. Yeah, that one looks way better. So we'll have like a couple of like clouds that are like standing still, and then we'll have a couple of clouds that are like moving throughout the entire map. So I think that looks way better. Maybe we can add ourselves like a couple more stamps up here, like a couple of smaller clouds. And I think that looks decent, right? Like it makes it so like the map doesn't look like super plain, but it also doesn't look overly barren, right? Like it doesn't look like there's too much on the map. So I think this is what I'm going to do for the remixed version of Cubism. Next thing I want to do is, of course, I want to go ahead and choose the music track. So for the music track, let's go ahead and use Sails again, because this is just my favorite track, especially when it comes to water maps. All right, dude, the last thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and name our map as well as play it. So as you guys know, I will be playing on easy standard because I want to see if you guys can actually beat this on Chimps, and I challenge you guys to beat this on Chimps. All right, so the first thing that I want to test out is I want to make sure that I can use towers on top of the raft, and we actually can, which is perfect. Now, next we can go ahead and place ourselves the monkey sub right here, and then this should be a relatively easy map. I wasn't going to like make it a super hard map. Maybe that's something that we can do in like a future map creator video. Now, as I was saying, this isn't really a hard map. I just want to create like a cool looking map that was a little bit different than Cubism, because as you guys know, I really like designing like different maps, and I really like water maps in Bloons TD6, because there's not a lot of water maps currently in Bloons TD6 that are like strictly based for water towers. And there's not really a lot of water towers in BT6 to begin with. Like what, out of all of the water towers that we have the beast handler, but even the beast handler, you need to like place him on top of land in order to actually use the water tower. So the only two water towers that we really have are the monkey sub and the monkey buccaneer, which I think that's just something that we need to have a little bit more of. Is I would really like to see more water-based towers. So let me know in the comments below, like what kind of water tower would you guys like to see in Bloons TD6? Like, would you guys like to see like a raft monkey that when you upgrade it, it will actually create like a platform that you could place other towers on? Kind of similar to how the ice monkey works with his like a tier 3 and tier 4 and tier 5 middle pathway upgrades. I think it'd be really cool if we had like a raft monkey that like when you upgraded him, his raft got bigger and you could place more towers on top of the raft. I think that would be so cool. But if Ninja Kiwi did that, they would definitely have to add more water-based tower or more water-based maps in Bloons TD6, because right now we have what? We have Spice Islands as well as we have Flooded Valley. And those are like the only two like water maps that are like highly dependent on water-based towers, if I'm not mistaken, of course. And all right, dudes, it seems like we didn't have a single problem with this map. So let's go ahead and publish our map. Oh, first we need to come up with a name for our map. So we'll do Cubism. So we'll just call this map a Cubism or Remix. And if you guys would like to play this map for yourself, here's the code. But anyways, dudes, that's gonna do it for the video. Again, feel free to let me know in the comments below what you guys saw of my map, and I'll see you dudes in the next one.